Man, it has been a full year since my last cartoon video. I made this hour-and-a-half long video talking about the Get Along Gang cartoon, and how it pretty much ruined the franchise for me. And after making such a long, painful video, I wanted to take a break from doing these cartoon review type videos. Since then, I've showcased some of my DVDs and Blu-rays in my collection, revisited the SpongeBob Popsicle a few times, made more Flipnote mashups, ranted about the lack of Quick Draw McGraw DVDs and the overall current state of Hanna-Barbera, made more Rudolph videos, looked at some plushies, talked about the best and worst designs of Pac-Man, and even debunked some common Mario misconceptions. Now, I think it's time to actually return to another cartoon-related topic, that being Strawberry Shortcake. After 15 years, I decided to revisit the Strawberry Shortcake franchise and watch for the very first time the old animated TV specials from the 1980s. I looked at 3 specials produced by Muller Rosen Productions: The World of Strawberry Shortcake from 1980, Big Apple City from 1981, and Pets on Parade in 1982. All 3 of those specials were really enjoyable, and you couldn't help but love the characters, especially the peculiar purple Pieman of Porcupine Peak, who's pretty much the best character in the series for me. However, there were 3 other specials I didn't talk much of, so in this video we are going to be finishing up the original Strawberry Shortcake specials and talk about the next 3. So the first 3 specials were written and produced by Romeo Muller of Rankin Bass fame. However, after Muller Rosen Productions went defunct, American Greetings and Kenner switched to the Canadian studio Nelvana for production on future Strawberry Shortcake specials, meaning that almost everyone who worked on the original 3 specials was fired, with 2 exceptions. Brucey Taylor and Robert Ridgely, who voiced Strawberry and the Purple Pieman respectively, were the only voice actors to reprise their roles. Considering that Kenner was still sponsoring the specials, how was their Strawberry Shortcake line doing by 1982? Pretty well, actually. By that point, they made 14 characters from their set of dolls, multiple figurines, a few playsets, and even ragdoll plushies. A lot of kids really enjoyed the toy line since not only did they have a physical representation of Strawberry and all her friends, but they also had fruit-flavored scents. Parents also enjoyed them because they felt refreshing and more appealing compared to other dolls like Barbie. One parent even said that the dolls are cute, as opposed to the glamour dolls like Barbie, who tend to make little girls feel like they should be fashion plates. All these factors combined gave the Strawberry Shortcake toy line a wide appeal. However, this wouldn't last long. By 1983, Kenner seemed to have started chasing stereotypical doll trends with their Strawberry line. A lot of the products they were making at the time felt more like they were trying way too hard to pander to young girls, as well as fans of other doll lines including Barbie, such as the Berry Happy Home, the Dancing Strawberry Shortcake, and the whole Berrykins wave of dolls, just to name a few. Now, don't get me wrong, the toy line was always marketed towards girls, but the dolls and sets they made before had sort of a neutral feel to them that I feel like anyone could enjoy regardless of gender. However, some of the products after 1983 became more girl-focused than usual, and these Nelvana specials definitely reflect on this change. This is something I'll touch upon later in the video, so let's actually watch the specials and see if they're just as good as the first 3. I also would like to give a very special shout out to Will C. Wilson. The footage I'm using for these specials come from his own VHS rips he uploaded on YouTube, as they currently feature the Nelvana specials in the best quality possible. Yeah, unlike the first 2 Muller specials, the 3 Nelvana specials are still stuck on VHS. Strawberry Shortcake Housewarming Surprise is the first special to be produced by Nelvana, and premiered on syndication on March 31st, 1983. I can clearly tell this is a Nelvana production from the art style alone. It even shares the same composer as the Get Along Gang special, John Sebastian. Since Romeo Muller is now fired, the series narrator, Mr. Sun, is now voiced by Chris Wiggins, and he does a decent job replicating Muller's voice.
You see, today Strawberry Shortcake moves out of her old house, and all of her friends have been busy helping her get ready for the move to her new house.
Mr. Sun pretty much explains the whole special's plot. Strawberry's moving. End of story. Actually, before she does, she shows her friends a slideshow of the friends she made in each country. After that, they all begin to move to a new house, while John Sebastian sings the opening credits.
Pack 'em up and move 'em out. It's time to move to your brand new house. You've had your fun right here, but now it's time to pack your gear. Everybody's gotta go somewhere sometime. This time you're the one. So pack up all your stuff and put it in a truck, and we'll have this moving done.
So far, the animation on this is very smooth for a TV cartoon, and the opening song is quite catchy, and the character designs have vastly improved. They look just as cute as they did in the Muller specials. But wait, where's the man who stole the show? Well, the Purple Pie Man invites Sour Grapes over to his place just to tell her his evil plan. Now keep in mind, in the last special, Sour was through with the Pie Man, so now she's a lot more sour towards him. Pun intended.
My master plan will allow me to spoil Strawberry Shortcake's fun forever.
Oh, come now, Perpy. Surely you're overestimating yourself. As usual.
Oh, yeah? Well, stick around and take a peek. My plan is perfection. So sinister, so sleek. For I am the peculiar Purple Pie Man of Porcupine Peak. Rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a, rat-a-tat. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lime Chiffon and Blueberry Muffin plan on putting a party for Strawberry at her new house, and inviting her international friends as well. The Pie Man's Berry Bird overhears this, and goes back to Porcupine Peak to tell him.
Aha! My plan works! Teaching these stupid berry birds to talk was the most painful ordeal of my entire life. But it was well worth it. But it was well worth it.
With the Pie Man now knowing about the recipes, Sour Grapes suggests that if they had those recipes, they could use them to make the world's greatest cookbook. This gives the Purple Pie Man the idea to steal all of Strawberry Shortcake's recipes so he could spoil her party. Back to Strawberry Shortcake. She has now moved to her new dollhouse, home.
It was so much fun visiting other lands, but there's no place like home. Right, Custard?
Lime Chiffon shows up and reunites her with her friends from around the world.
So very wonderful!
Now little Mint Tulip made a Dutch apple pie, and she brought it along for everyone to try. Grape Suzette and her puppy Eclair brought a chocolate mousse for everyone to share.
Chocolate mousse for everyone to share.
Lemon Ada also showed up with a recipe box. All of this will be important later in the plot.
Ah, the recipe box, eh?
You guys are having a party?
In the meantime, Strawberry and her friends all play hide and seek, while the Pie Man sneaks in trying to find the recipe book.
The kitchen at last. And look at those goodies. Aha, the recipe box. Because I'm so rotten, I know just what to do. I'll gobble up their goodies and steal all the recipes too. FBI, open up! Where can I hide? Aha!
His cover was eventually blown, but he gets away with the recipe box at the end. But little does he know that Lemon Ada were hiding in the recipe box. So Strawberry and her friends must rescue them.
I'm so sorry. I've spoiled all your fun and lost all your recipes.
I might be missing something, but I don't get why Strawberry needed to apologize. After all, it wasn't her fault the Purple Pie Man came in and stole the recipe box. That was completely out of her control. Anyways, they notice Captain Cackle, one of the Pie Man's berry birds, repeating their dialogue.
That's it! The berry birds will get our recipes back for us?
Get our recipes back for us.
But how, Strawberry?
How, Strawberry?
Just watch.
When you wanna say berry, just say berry instead.
Okay, that is not Russi Taylor singing this. Maybe she wasn't available to record this song, I'm not sure. But basically, Strawberry's plan was to sing a song about berry talk, to which the berry birds would repeat it to the Pie Man, who, if you haven't remembered, despises berry talk.
Ah, yes, my berry birds. And what words from Strawberry Shortcake you bring to me now, my eavesdropping little tattletales?
Berry, that's berry, berry this, and it's berry, berry that. Are you berry, berry silly? Are you berry, berry fat? Is it berry, berry funny?
Gad! Berry talk! I can't stand berry talk! That smart little Strawberry Shortcake has outsmarted me again! She's taught my berry birds berry talk! They'll drive me mad with it! Unless...
Of course, the plan works, and it even convinces Perpy to return the recipe box to Strawberry. Unfortunately, the recipe box gets stuck on top of the giant bottle, leaving Lemon Ada helpless. Both the heroes and the villains attempt to try to get the box. The Pie Man, with the help of Sours the Snake, was able to reach the box and give it back to Strawberry. I guess he lost his evil conscience after the berry birds kept singing. So Lemon Ada are saved, and Strawberry and all of her friends return home to finish where the party left off.
such a great feeling to have everyone right here at my party where we're having our fun.
Strawberry Shortcake and the Baby Without a Name continues the adventures of Strawberry and her friends, which aired on syndication on March 24th, 1984, 2 months before Nelvana's Get Along Gang special premiered. We start off the series on a hot sunny day. Strawberry, Orange, Lemon, and Cherry are enjoying the great outdoors, until Strawberry tells them that she got a telegram from Plum Pudding. Now, before I go any further, Plum Pudding is a friend of Strawberry's who's pretty much just the Strawberry Shortcake version of Walden from Wild Wild Wubsy. He only had a major role in the first special, as well as a minor role in the beginning of Big Apple City. After that, he was nowhere to be found. What happened to him? Well, apparently she was actually busy traveling. She'll be returning to Strawberry Land and bringing along some new friends she made. Yes, Plum Pudding is female now. They never pointed that out, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. So Strawberry and a few of her friends plan on going camping. Meanwhile, Sour Grapes is at Porcupine Peak to visit her friend, the peculiar Purple Pieman of Porcupine Peak. The Pieman had been hiding in his hideout because he believes that there is a monster somewhere in Strawberry Land, much to Sour's frustration.
Where is he? A monster.
The monster doesn't exist.
You'd change your tune if you saw what I saw.
Show me, Perpy.
It will be my treat to show you this monster of which I speak. For I am the peculiar Purple Pieman of Porcupine Peak.
Strawberry and friends arrive at the trolley to pick up Plum Pudding and her new friends, Peach Blush and some random baby who doesn't have a name. Hey, that's the title of the special. Apparently, Baby Needs a Name plays a pretty important role in this special. Also, that land looks suspiciously similar to Wolma from the Get Along Gang.
Coincidence? I think not!
So everyone continues their camping trip, however, Plum discovers a giant footprint. Sour Grapes, now realizing that a monster does exist, wants to catch it and sell it off for profit. The Pieman gets in on it because of his greedy nature, which is kind of odd since I never really considered him to be a greedy character. I guess his thievery for berries can be seen as greed, but still. Now everything is dark and Strawberry and her friends are in their sleeping bags. Strawberry tells them a ghost story.
You asked for it. There's a time I seem to remember when all the ghosts come out to play. All the goblins gather together and have a very scary holiday. Once a year, just about midnight, all the ghosts from miles around try their worst to scare little children. Listen close and you can hear their haunting sound. What was that? I think they're here. You never can tell when a ghost's near. Watch your step or you'll disappear.
Wow, I didn't expect this song to be such a banger. Honestly, I like the imagery they used in this scene. They really seem to embrace the spooky atmosphere really well. After the musical number, they all see stars in the sky. Baby Needs a Name not only wishes that she had a name, but also a pet. Interesting considering that they never brought up the idea of her having a pet until just now. Also, it feels like they're just repeating the same character wants a pet trope that they already used in Pets on Parade. Anyways, while everyone's asleep, Baby hears footsteps and follows them. When everyone wakes up, they find out that Baby is missing. They also find more giant monster footprints Plum Pudding found earlier, leading everyone to believe that something bad happened to Baby Needs a Name. Meanwhile, the Purple Pieman is setting up a trap to catch the monster. Both he and Sour Grapes sing about catching the monster. Baby Needs a Name goes inside a cave and gets trapped, but don't worry, she met this small cute dinosaur and they became friends. Both Strawberry and the Pieman's group show up together.
Strawberry Shortcake.
I should have known you two had something to do with this.
All we want is to find our little lost friend.
Who is that?
She doesn't have a name.
A likely story, if I ever heard one.
I like stories. Hooray!
Baby shows up perfectly safe, and she even introduces everyone to her new friend, Fig Boot.
Now I get it. It's not one footprint. It's both feet and his tail. He's really shy. All he wants is someone to love him. I want to keep him.
Nothing doing. He's coming with us.
After the Pieman threatens to capture him, Fig Boot runs away until he is caught by one of his traps. He and Sour then trap Strawberry and her friends so they wouldn't catch up. Back at Porcupine Peak, the Purple Pieman and Sour Grapes are figuring out what to do with Fig Boot after realizing that he's barely a threat.
How about a nice, big, blood-curdling growl for Sour Grapes?
Ooh, not like that. Like this. I give up. What now?
Well, Perpy, we either take him as he is, or we put you in the cage.
With the help of Mr. Sun, Strawberry and gang escape from the Pieman's trap, and are now going to rescue Fig Boot. Sour and Pieman are now driving to get to the trolley that takes them to Big Apple City. A neat callback to the second special, by the way. They soon discover giant versions of Fig Boot's footprints, suspecting them to think that a bigger version of him exists. Strawberry and company scare the two villains off and rescue Fig Boot.
Okay, first we'll fill in all those holes we dug. And then everyone is invited back to my house for a victory celebration!
It's odd that they ended the special with a party since they already did that in the last one. So now Baby Needs a Name finally got the pet she wanted. But what about her name? Does she eventually get one?
Don't you worry. I'm sure that someone somewhere has just the right name for you.
Man, they really cheaped out on the ending. They couldn't think of a name to give this poor baby and let the viewers decide. I know this was part of the character's gimmick when Kenner made toys for the baby, but still.
You're my very best friends. And I love you all very much.
Now we only have one more special to cover, and it's a pretty interesting one, for both right and wrong reasons. And that's Strawberry Shortcake Meets the Berrykins, which aired on March 29th, 1985. It was the last overall special for Strawberry Shortcake's classic era, and is the most polarizing thing to ever come out of the franchise in my opinion. Fun fact, an abridged version of the special was also made, and was played during the theatrical release of the Care Bears movie. It's pretty much the same special, just cut down to 12 minutes, but for the purpose of this video, I'll be covering the full 22-minute special. We start the last special with Strawberry and all of her friends preparing for their first annual garden party. We are also introduced to a new character, Banana Twirl. She pretty much just shows up out of nowhere, like Strawberry Shortcake introduces her to her friends, but she never explained how they met. So everyone goes out to look for the best berry they could find. Shortly after, Strawberry is getting dressed for the garden party. There's a small character arc she has in the special where she wishes to grow longer hair, which I think is meant to represent the urge of wanting to grow up. There's this whole trippy musical sequence, which is about her wanting to try out different styles, which kinda confused me a bit since I don't think there was anything wrong with her usual look. But hey, I've been wearing the same t-shirts, shorts, pants, and even the same hair for like a decade, so what do I know?
I wanna look like who I want to be when I grow up. I wanna
Okay, the way the VHS glitched out actually made the jump cut look like a really cool transition. Some people say that VHS artifacts improve the viewing experience of classic films and animations, and I can now sort of see why there's a big appreciation for it. I feel like seeing this version of Strawberry and Jeans feels pretty foreshadowing. Oh my, Strawberry is like Sailor Mooning over here.
She wants to look like who she wants to be when she grows up.
When I grow up, I'll have to wait till it grows just a very bit longer.
As Strawberry goes out to the garden party, she finds her very best berry on her front doorstep. Same goes for everyone attending the party.
Did you put our very best fruits and berries on our doorstep, Strawberry?
I was just going to ask you the same question, Banana Twirl.
Well, someone must have moved them. They didn't just get up and walk off by themselves. This is not a laughing matter, Lime Chiffon.
There was a neat Peach Blush. Something very, very strange is going on in Strawberry Land.
Oh, I startled you.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Strawberry. This princess shows up out of nowhere, and she's looking for her berrykins. What kind of drugs did these kids take before the party? So the kids' berries turned into like these little babies, and then they jumped off their hands and went inside the berry princess's dress?
Say hello to Strawberry Shortcake and her friends.
Hello! Hello, berrykins! Gosh, who are they?
What? Why is Strawberry asking who they are? The princess already told him that these were her berrykins. Maybe she is asking what the berrykins do for a living, and if so, she should have just asked the princess what they do. Either that, or I'm just stupid.
The berrykins are my helpers. Each one has a special scent all their own. Blue berrykin dusts a blueberry scent. The smell of ripe plums, plum berrykin gives vent. To lemons, lemon berrykin adds scent a touch tart, and raspberrykin's aroma is true to the art. Sweet and fresh, that's orange berrykin's fare. Limes without lime berrykin would seem a bit bare. Banana berrykin's banana fragrance is very unique. Peach berrykin's scent is really a treat, and strawberrykin's aroma is the sweetest of sweet. Berrykin's dust to make sure everything's laced, for the more fragrant the scent, the better the taste.
So you got all that down? Well, I hope you do. How else would Kenner be able to sell these little shits as marketable plushies? Strawberry Land starts to rain, which everyone takes cover.
Where did that come from?
The purple clouds that are causing Strawberry Land to rain are coming from the contraption that's located in the purple Pieman's place. Sour Grapes is trying to make a new perfume with a unique smell. With the help from the purple Pieman, they order certain foods to experiment with, leading to some apparently disgusting results.
We'll never succeed in creating the world's most wonderful perfume. We're only adding to a potpourri of putrid failures.
Berry Bird, go out and get 3 double cheeseburgers, heavy on the caramel sauce.
I wonder if it's safe to release all these ghastly smelling gases outside.
It's interesting how the Pieman doesn't care if he destroys, steals, cheats, or even kidnaps, but the fact that he questions the morality of releasing these stinky gases in a way he probably wouldn't is fascinating. So we've got some good news and bad news. The good news is Strawberry Land has stopped raining so they could continue the party as usual. The bad news, well...
It smells like pizza!
Double pepperoni.
And this one smells like popcorn! Pretzels! Chocolate!
While yes, strawberries shouldn't smell like pizza, popcorn, pretzels, or chocolate, everyone treats it as their terrible smells, even though they're actually not that bad of smells in reality. I mean, who doesn't love the sweetness of chocolate, or the buttery goodness of popcorn and pretzels? But even then, these smells shouldn't be coming out of berries, so we must find the source of these clouds and put an end to this. Otherwise, these clouds will burst with these out-of-place smells for like, forever I guess. But before we do that, let's teach our pets what's food and not food.
These lemons smell like
catnip! Sweet babies!
Honestly, I don't feel like covering this part of the special or even the song they play. I mean, it's kinda cute, but serves no real purpose to the story. So the Berrykins plan on teasing one of the Piemans' berry birds with their scents. Of course, karma gets the best of them, and the berry bird traps the Berrykins in his bag. Meanwhile, Strawberry Shortcake, the Berry Princess, and the Strawberry Berrykin discover that the purple clouds are coming from the purple Pieman's home, to which they pay him a visit.
Strawberry Shortcake? News of failure travels fast. And, who is this?
I should have known that cloud had something to do with you.
Cloud? What cloud?
In about 15 minutes, that cloud is going to rain your stinky smells over everything in Strawberry Land.
How romantic.
The Berry Princess, knowing the Pieman's crush on her, seduces him into shutting down the machine.
I'm on the verge of a discovery that will make my fame and fortune. But I will gladly put all of that aside for the sake of Strawberry Land.
Now that will give us more time to deal with the problem. Thank you for your help, Mr. Mudpie.
That's Pieman.
You pathetic purple pea brain.
The Pieman eventually snaps after his berry bird gives him the berrykins that are in his bag. Strawberry and the princess return, but unfortunately their friends tell them that the berrykins were kidnapped by one of the Pieman's berry birds, to which they go back to Porcupine Peak to settle things straight.
What a terrible smell.
You see, Sour Grapes, because of my berry bird, we can finally create the world's most wonderful perfume.
So the villains now have the berrykins trapped and are using their powers to make the ultimate berry scent for their perfume.
But what about me?
I'd prefer you to be my silent partner. Now pedal!
Hello! Oh, Mr. Pieman!
The Berry Princess. I'm irresistible.
Don't move one minuscule muscle.
Is it just me, or does the bike handle make it look like Sour Grapes had a gun in her hand? Is it just me? It has to be me. The Berry Princess will deal with the storm clouds, while Strawberry and the Strawberry Berrykin will rescue the other berrykins.
Faster, Burpee, faster!
All right, berry nappers. Make my day.
Get her, Burpee.
The berrykins are eventually rescued, the princess uses her wand to make the clouds rain berry smells, and Strawberry Land is finally saved from all those nasty smells. After the garden party ended, the princess sang a lullaby that causes everyone to sleep. The Berry Princess tells Strawberry that she must go now, her planet needs her, and she tells them to take care and watch over the berrykins. After she leaves, Strawberry's hair finally starts to grow, ending her arc of wanting to grow up.
She wants to look like who she wants to be when she grows up.
When I grow up.
So that concludes the trilogy of Nelvana's The Strawberry Shortcake specials. And boy, there's a lot to unpack here. First off, I want to say that I did at least enjoy all three Nelvana specials. They all have their good moments. I also enjoy the music in these specials. While basic, they have a good beat to them, and John Sebastian is awesome. Animation-wise, everything looks much nicer and more vibrant than even the Muller specials, and the soft redesigns that the characters have made them more expressive and cartoony. I especially love the way the Purple Pieman is animated. He's always fun to watch because of how much he moves in the silliest ways possible, and his facial expressions even rival those of the ones from Big Apple City. In fact, Robert Ridgely's vocals sound even more energetic now than they ever were before. There was also some attempt to make use out of Strawberries as friends in the Nelvana special. It's not much, and they usually focus more on the new characters, but at least they tried. Mr. Sun, however, was kind of forgettable. He doesn't really have much interesting dialogue compared to what he had in the Muller specials, and the only time he ever felt important was when he grew a giant plant to help Strawberry and her friends escape. If there was one issue I had with the character designs, it would actually be that of the Pieman's. Now, I love that he's much sillier, and how Nelvana pretty much perfected his face. It's his clothes that leave a lot to be desired. In the original Muller specials, the purple Pieman originally wore a hot pink chef hat, a long-sleeve purple chef uniform, a lavender color half apron, and his tights were either black or a really dark indigo. In my opinion, this outfit was perfect and lived up to the purple Pieman's name. It also helped that he was a Romeo Muller creation. This was what Muller envisioned when he created the character. However, when Nelvana became the producers of this special, they changed the Pieman's clothes, probably so that he would tie in better with the Kenner doll and other merch. His chef hat was now a lighter pink, he now sports a blue t-shirt, he finally wears a full apron but it's all white, and his tights are now a dark purple. Besides the tights, there's nothing about this design that screams that he's the peculiar purple Pieman of Porcupine Peak. At least the Kenner doll gave him some purple on his hair and mustache. I never understood why most media at the time used this design, or at least something similar to it. He just doesn't have enough purple to justify his name. I mean, he's literally called the peculiar purple Pieman, not the peculiar blue Pieman. Honestly, the Nelvana design in particular would have worked a lot better if they added more purple to his outfit. Maybe make his t-shirt purple and his apron lavender, or if not, at least make his hat a bit more lilac and give him the purple hair from the Kenner doll. Regardless, at least they didn't do anything too stupid with this design, because otherwise, I do like Nelvana's redesign. Another complaint I have with the Nelvana specials character-wise would be that of Sour Grapes. I have nothing against her, she's a good character and all, but I feel like she had so much wasted potential. When she first appeared in Pets on Parade, she was established as an actual threat, a criminal mastermind. The fact that she was an established criminal contrasted very well to the purple Pieman, who was mostly pathetic in comparison. They were a fun duo in the special. Initially, I thought their team-up was going to be a one-time thing, and that Sour Grapes would eventually go on to terrorize Strawberry Land in her own unique way. But then they brought her back in the Nelvana specials with a Pieman, and I was like, really? Did she need to return so soon? I like how Sours' dynamic with the Pieman changed after Pets on Parade, so now in the Nelvana specials, she's a lot more cynical and sarcastic towards the Pieman, which I think fits because she now knows that the Pieman is a complete joke. However, I feel like having Sour Grapes in these specials made the Pieman less interesting of a character, and I'd argue she hogged most, if not all of the spotlight, because it seems like the Pieman is now depicted as being Sours' henchman, though that's only really the case in the last special. In fact, Sour is just downright rude to the Pieman on many occasions. The problem with Sour Grapes is that she overstayed her welcome in the Nelvana specials, and her new dynamic with the purple Pieman, while nice, got old very fast. I also would have loved to see her as her own separate villain, since the fact that she was established to be a criminal mastermind in Pets on Parade gave her so much potential to be her own unique villain. But sadly, she kept showing up with the Pieman all the time, and it just ruined this once fun team-up for me. As for Strawberry Shortcake, she remains her usual sweet and lovable self, and I really appreciated how she got a bit of character development for each special. In the Muller specials, she was a bit of a crybaby, but after staying up to the Pieman and Pets on Parade, she's no longer prone to crying in the later specials. She's now a lot wiser in the new specials, and she isn't afraid to take any risks. I also liked how Meet the Berrykins explored the idea of Strawberries' self-discovery, but in execution though, well, let's talk about the specials in particular first. Housewarming Surprise is, in my opinion, the best of the three Nelvana specials, and on par with the Muller specials. Sure, the whole moving in plot was just a dumb way to sell some big dollhouse, but at least it wasn't as toy pandering as the other two. This was also the last time we saw certain characters like Huckleberry Pie. Despite being a major and important character to the Strawberry Shortcake franchise, I'm surprised he never came back in the last two. I mean, he could have easily joined Strawberry on the camping trip, or even the garden party. Though to be fair, I have heard a rumor somewhere on the internet that Kenner did eventually discontinue their Huckleberry Pie doll due to him not selling well compared to the other girl characters. If this rumor was true, then I get why he wasn't in the other Nelvana specials. In fact, that could have been the reason why we never got a Plum Pudding doll before his sex change. They probably changed his gender so they could market her better with the other girls. Honestly, I think Sour Grape should have stayed absent in Housewarming Surprise since she didn't really do anything in that special. I feel like she was only there just so the Pieman could have someone to talk to, which I can understand. But I mean, the Pieman did teach his Berry Birds to talk, so they could have filled in for Sour and the whole story would have been exactly the same. The Baby Without a Name is a fairly normal special, though upon rewatching it, it doesn't quite hold up as well as its predecessor. Honestly, the plot feels very dull and cliche, and they never even bothered naming the baby. This was part of a gimmick where they wanted you to name the baby. The ending of the special even had Strawberry breaking the fourth wall, saying, "I'm sure someone out there has a name for you," and looks at the audience while doing so. They build it up to where you wonder what her name will be, but then they go full on 180 and tell you forget it, come up with your own darn name. All that build up for nothing. I do happen to enjoy this female version of Plum Pudding though, and the spooky campfire song scene wasn't what I was expecting from Strawberry Shortcake, but it was awesome regardless, for lack of a better word. But oh boy, Strawberry meets the Berrykins. At first, I actually liked it, but upon rewatching, I couldn't help but feel like it wasn't as good as I initially thought. I will warn you, some of the issues I have are a bit nitpicky, so please keep that in mind. I am not a critic, nor do I consider this a real review. Have you ever watched this amazing Batman series called Batman the Brave and the Bold? I swear this has something to do with Strawberry Shortcake, I promise. In the final episode of the series, Mightfall, Batmite gets tired of watching The Brave and the Bold, thinking the show has jumped the shark. So he sabotages the show to get it cancelled quickly, so that way, Warner Bros. Can replace it with a new, darker adaptation of the Caped Crusader. Batmite tries many ways to make viewers less interested in the show, such as giving Batman a family and giving him the neon-talking Super Street Bat Luge, which is supposed to be a jab at the merchandise-driven trope that was commonplace in these types of shows. A trope that Nelvana's Strawberry Shortcake sadly fell into. Sure, the Muller specials had some sort of toy pandering, but at least there, they were more creative with it. For example, in Big Apple City, the special promoted new dolls such as Orange Blossom and Lemon Meringue, and those new characters worked well because they were great characters in the special and served a real purpose to the plot as they helped Strawberry Shortcake win the bake-off. There was also a gazebo playset, which was also featured in the Big Apple City special, and what made its inclusion work is that even though it was the grand prize for winning the bake-off, it never played a huge part in the special. In fact, Strawberry's true grand prize in that special was actually the fact that she made new friends who, despite just meeting her, still cared and supported her regardless. I think if anyone wants to make a TV series for the sake of merchandise, make sure it serves a purpose to the plot, but be creative with it at the same time. If you make it bland or super obvious that it only exists just to sell toys, it could have a negative impact on your show. Sadly, Strawberry Shortcake Meets the Berrykins is probably the most sellouty of all the specials, and they did it in a very bland way that felt like it only served a purpose just to sell toys. The Berrykins and the Berry Princess aren't bad characters, but they're just not super interesting. The Berrykins' wave of dolls are obviously trying way too hard to pander to young girls, with the inclusion of the characters in new fashion-like party dresses, and most infamously, the Berry Princess. The Berry Princess doll that Kenner released looks like she could be from any other doll line. She just looks really out of place next to the more cartoony-looking Strawberry Shortcake characters. Not only that, but her voice in the Berrykin special is probably the most generic 80s female princess voice you'll ever find. And yet, I'm supposed to pay $500 for her on eBay? I think her design would have worked a lot better if she was a kid. That way, she would have more closely resembled the other characters much better. But then again, if they actually did that, I'm pretty sure the scene with her and the Pieman would have been completely rewritten for obvious reasons. Oh, and the party dresses that the characters wear in most of the special, they look freaking ugly. I don't mean to sound like a party pooper or anything, it's just when you compare their outfits to the ones on the actual dolls, it's just pure sadness. The party dresses on the Berrykins' wave of dolls at least look nice and keep the characters' respective fruit motif, to which the party dresses in the special do not. They just look so generic and uninspired. Honestly, I would have much preferred if the characters wore their regular attire through most of the special, and saved the party dresses for something like the When I Grow Up sequence or at the end of the special. Also, let's talk about Banana Twirl. Banana who, you're asking? Yeah, so Banana Twirl was the new character introduced for this wave, and yet they never acknowledge how she became friends with Strawberry, nor did she serve any real purpose to the story. And let's not forget about some even more wasted potential or questionable moments. I still stand by the fact that Sour Grape should have been her own villain, since the world's best perfume scheme is pretty much all her idea. The Pieman's only there just because it's his place they're at, and because of that, he's the one who only gets the blame here. In fact, this is the only special where he does not do his iconic Yata-Ta bit. I personally think this would have worked much better as a Sour Grapes only storyline. Now, I always wondered if the Berrykin special was ever meant to be the final special. The only reason the Berrykin wave of dolls existed was so Kenner could bring fans back to the toy line with something fresh. Though considering how the toy line already lost some popularity by the time the Nelvana specials came out, I definitely like to think that they were aware that this might be their last wave. There were a lot of elements that made me believe that the Berrykin special would be the series' very last one, especially since it explores the themes of maturing and self-discovery. If this were truly the case, then man, they did the Purple Pieman so dirty in this. During the special, the princess seduces him into turning off his machine, not to mention that the Pieman is shown to question the morality of what he and Sour are doing. This gave me the false impression that he would be redeemed again, which ultimately never happens. It's like they gave us a few hints and foreshadowing, but never actually bothered to actually deliver it. I know making the purple Pieman a good guy would have been a bit redundant since they already did that in the end of the first special, but honestly, I would have been perfectly fine if they did that again. Maybe after wondering about the safety of the smells, being seduced by the berry princess, as well as the way Sour Grapes treated him in the special, it would only make sense for the Pieman to turn his back on Sour and stop what she's doing. Maybe this would have made him more environmentally cautious, maybe even encourage him to make his pies more ethical or organic. That honestly would have been a decent way to end the Pieman's character arc. After all, he's probably the second most important character in the original specials, behind Strawberry Shortcake herself, of course. The Berrykin special really showed how unimportant the purple Pieman really was in that special, and it's sad that he didn't do anything too noteworthy. Well, besides lusting over the princess, of course, that will never not be entertaining. So I talked about the wasted potential of the purple Pieman's character arc. What about Strawberry Shortcake's actual character arc? I feel like on paper, Strawberry wanting to grow up and think about her future is pretty great. The fact that they use the idea of her having longer hair to symbolize maturity is interesting. It was great that Strawberry got the thing she always wanted, since not only did she help the Berry Princess save Strawberry Land, but the way she did it proved to the princess and the audience that Strawberry is now mature and capable enough to do big things. Which is why the princess gave her longer hair, it actually felt earned. However, I feel like they sort of ruined the message by the end, because when the special ends, the princess leaves and tells the girls to take care of her berrykins, which is odd considering that she's pretty much leaving her babies behind with these 7 to 8-year-old girls. Personally, I think there was no reason for the kids to keep the berrykins, since I feel like it could give off the wrong message that all women will grow up to become mothers or housewives. Personally, I think the whole message would have been much better executed if the princess had kept the berrykins. There was no reason for her to let the kids take care of them, since even though they are starting to mature, they are still kids right now. When the 12-minute theatrical cut of Meet the Berrykins played before showings of the Care Bears movie, about 11 minutes of footage was cut. The theatrical version now starts with Strawberry finding her berry on her front porch, and the credits roll after the Berry Princess saves Strawberry Land. Any references to the special's coming-of-age message was removed, including the original ending, so we don't get to see the princess telling the girls to watch over the berrykins, we don't get to see them grow out their hair. It kinda ends abruptly. However, I do think the theatrical cut makes up for it in terms of pacing. Nelvana's Strawberry Shortcake specials are pretty slow in pace, since they're pretty much 11-minute stories in a 22-minute special. Things like the musical numbers and certain conversations can be seen as filler. So even though the Berrykins' message was non-existent in the 12-minute theatrical cut, it does arguably make the pacing a lot better. Heck, the fact that they made a shorter version of the special really shows you how flawed Strawberry Shortcake Meets the Berrykins is. While I don't consider it to be bad by any means, it's still not a very good special. I just find it pretty polarizing to watch, since I feel like it focused more on selling toys rather than actually telling a good story. For comparison, the Get Along Gang special that Nelvana also produced does a much better job at telling a story while also serving as a 30-minute commercial for the Tomy line. It does a good job focusing more on the characters and their worlds, and the toyetic things like the clubhouse, Mr. Hoofniggles, and any of the vehicles served as good plot devices in the special without them overstaying their welcome. Considering how I think that Nelvana's Get Along Gang special is superior to their Strawberry Shortcake trilogy, it kinda makes me wish that they did more animated content for the Get Along Gang instead of Deke. Because with the Deke cartoon, I could clearly tell that it was definitely not a passion project for those working on it. In fact, former Deke executive Robbie London has even gone on record saying that their employees hated the company's strategy of making adaptations of existing properties. Unless if you were Mario, of course. They loved Mario. If I had to guess what ruined Nelvana's Strawberry Shortcake trilogy, I like to think that it was Kenner themselves who were responsible. I imagine they interfered with the production of these specials more than they ever did with the original Muller ones. Whether it be redesigning the Purple Pieman's clothes, showing off more toyetic settings and vehicles, and the Berrykin special as a whole, I feel like they rushed Nelvana to make these specials, and forced them to make them closely tie in with Kenner's new offerings, without even trying to make them work in the stories. When Romeo Muller wrote his original Strawberry Shortcake trilogy, he was aware that they were 30-minute commercials for Kenner's toy line. However, it has been said that his productions were uninfluenced by commercial considerations, and he was even proud of the specials he worked on. Romeo Muller's writing always had an innocence to them that it's hard to dislike. Even though not everything he wrote was a masterpiece, they still had a lot of heart and effort to them. That's exactly the reason why a lot of Rankin & Bass's holiday specials are still revered today. It was Muller's way of writing that made them have an innocent, childlike feel to them, to which made the specials pure-hearted without talking down to its audience. I'll let the ending of Santa Claus is Coming to Town speak for itself.
How can they talk about Santa Claus when there's so much unhappiness in the world?
Poor, misguided folks. They missed the whole point. Lots of unhappiness? Maybe so. But doesn't Santa take a little bit of that unhappiness away? Doesn't a smile on Christmas morning scratch out a tear cried on a Saturday? Not much, maybe. But what would happen if we all tried to be like Santa and learned to give, as only he can give, of ourselves, our talents, our love, and our hearts? Maybe if we could all learn Santa's beautiful lesson, maybe there would finally be peace on earth and goodwill toward man.
Even though Muller's The Strawberry Shortcake specials don't quite have the same effect that Rudolph and Santa Claus have, they still retain the same innocent charm to them that you can't truly dislike. Also, despite the target audience of the Strawberry Shortcake franchise mainly being young girls, Muller wrote the original specials in a way that tried to be more unisex and appeal to everyone of all ages, sort of like how the Kenner toy line was like before 1983. You can easily tell in the beginning of the special where Mr. Sun referred to the audience as boys and girls, moms and dads, brothers and sisters, and even cats and dogs. Overall, Nelvana's The Strawberry Shortcake trilogy started off pretty well, but for lack of a better term, became less good and more toy pandering as they went on. It just wasn't the same without Romeo Muller, and Kenner was pretty much no help. But on the bright side, they could have been much worse. They could have been the Get Along Gang cartoon. Overall, there will never be a series quite as special as the OG Strawberry Shortcake specials. All 6 specials do a great job bringing the world of Strawberry Shortcake to life with its colorful, creative, fruit-themed worlds, its lovable cast of characters, and especially the fact that it gave us the peculiar purple Pieman of Porcupine Peak. With all these new incarnations of Strawberry Shortcake showing up, I still think the original incarnation with Russi Taylor is still the best one. But why though? Maybe I just like the original designs of the characters better. Maybe because it had the best version of the Pieman. Well, whatever it is, there's something about the original 80s version of Strawberry Shortcake that I like more than the ones that follow after. The Deke Strawberry Shortcake series from 2003 is a fantastic reboot, and it captures the spirit of the original incarnation really well. I may be a bit biased since that was the thing that got me introduced to Strawberry Shortcake, but I still can't help but feel like it's an excellent kids show. But that's the thing. The OG specials had a more universal appeal with its writing, tone, and humor, whereas the Deke series feels much more for kids. It just feels more safe in comparison, whether it be its cast of child actors, the songs, or the more slice-of-life style the show has over the originals' Stop the Purple Pieman type adventures. But despite this, I still think the 2003 incarnation shows a lot of respect for the original and is still fun to watch on small occasions. As for Strawberry Shortcake's Berry Bitty Adventures, I have not seen a single episode of this series. However, I kind of view it the same way as the Deke show, a good incarnation despite being more for kids. In February 2015, American Greetings would sell the rights to the Strawberry Shortcake franchise to Iconic's Brand Group for $105 million. 2 years later, DHX Media would acquire Iconics for $345 million. And as with this video, DHX, renamed to WildBrain in 2019, is the current owner of the Strawberry Shortcake IP, and with a new owner came a new series. 2021 saw the release of the current incarnation of the franchise, Strawberry Shortcake Berry in the Big City. This one seems to be a bit divided amongst fans and general audiences. As for my praises, I like how this show makes me chuckle. I don't know what it is, but I just can't help but chuckle at some of the dialogue or the voice performances, which is really good by the way. I also love how the series is more focused on the cooking aspects of the characters. And honestly, I actually think the series closely resembles the writing and tone of the original specials, which I really like. It doesn't feel quite like a kids show the same way that the previous two did. Most fans kind of compare this to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, so maybe that could be why. I also really like the way some characters were portrayed in this one, even if I'm not a big fan of most of their redesigns. Though the one thing that ruins the series for me is that it doesn't feel like Strawberry Shortcake the same way the previous incarnations did. Gone was the bright, colorful fantasy aesthetic that made the franchise memorable, and we now have it take place in a busy city. I can understand the direction they wanted, and at least they chose Big Apple City, which was already an existing location from the franchise's lore, and the city itself still has the fruit theme. For as much as I really enjoy Berry in the Big Blue City, seriously, you should go watch it. The city environment doesn't have the same charm as the original's fantasy-type environment. In my opinion, the original version of the world of Strawberry Shortcake still holds up, despite many other versions of the characters coming and going, the original version of the characters are still considered to be the main version of the characters, because even to this day, the classic versions of the characters are still used in merchandise and other promotional material. That alone is crazy, since there hasn't been any sort of animated revival for the original universe, and it's unlikely one ever will be unless Bear in the Big City gets cancelled or something. But even then, I think Wildbrain would rather make a whole new incarnation rather than revisiting a previous one. But personally, I think the OG incarnation should be revisited in animation someday. There's so much material to work with, and I think a new series with the OG characters could really help benefit the franchise and better appeal to a wide audience. Caitlin Robrock as Strawberry Shortcake would be the perfect casting choice. Will I ever cover more Strawberry Shortcake content in the future? I mean, I hope so, but for now, there's so many things to do on this channel. More DVD and Blu-ray showcases, other animations I want to talk about. Maybe if I have time, I could revisit Tiny Toon Plush Ventures. But anyways, I'm Lane Wilkinson, and I hope you enjoy this Strawberry Shortcake retrospective. I'll see you real soon. Same berry time, same berry channel.